So continuing on with our crypto manager, we are going to deal with doing two-factor authentication using the django-otp package. We want to create it where it can be an optional two-factor system, and unfortunately django-otp doesn't support that out of the box. So as we go through implementing our two-factor authentication system, we're going to do that as part of what we're doing. But in this first video, I just want to get it set up and get it working so that you're aware of how it works, and we're just going to deal with the admin system side of it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install a newer version of Django, 1.11.3. There's a couple of methods that need to be overridden that were changed in between 1.11.2 and 1.11.3, but if you'll just go up to 3, you should be fine. We're also going to install django-otp and QR code. django-otp stands for one-time password. So with those installed, let's actually get into some configuration by going into the settings file. We're going to add django-otp and django-otp.plugins.otp_totp. Without getting into a really long explanation of what that is, there are a couple of different mechanisms of creating a one-time password. We're choosing to do the TOTP method because it's a little more similar to what everyone's used to using with a Google Authenticator app and creating one-time passwords that have an auto rotation. Next thing we're going to do is we're add a middleware underneath the authentication middleware of django-otp middleware.otp middleware. And with that, our configuration in our settings is done. So let's go actually use this in the admin. To do that, we need to go into our URLs file, and we're going to create a temporary custom admin for our system. So we'll just inherit from django-otp.admin the admin site class, and we'll create an OTP admin class. We're going to inherit two models so that we can attach those to our admin site. We're going to do user and the TOTP device object or model, and I'll explain what the TOTP device does in a later video. We're going to do admin site equals OTP admin, instantiate it and give it a name of OTP admin. We're going to register the user model and register the TOTP device model. Next, we're going to jump down to our URLs and actually try to use it. We're going to copy the line and change the admin to be an admin_site, and then the second one will be dadmin. For Django admin, it's going to be the default admin. So the admin URL is going to be our new two-factor authentication based admin, and the dadmin is going to be our traditional Django admin. Finally, we'll do a migrate to create the new models, and we're ready to give this a test. First, we're going to run the application. We're logged out, and so we're going to go to our admin, and notice we have username, password, and OTP token. This is where I'm getting into that this is on by default for doing authentication with two-factor authentication. For our system, we want it to be optional. So in order to configure this, we have to go to our Django admin that we set up a second ago so that we can log in normally to our account. We'll go down to the TOTP device, and we'll just add a new one. We're going to set the user to be my current user. We'll just give it a name, and everything else by default is just fine. So we're going to go ahead and save and continue editing. So if you'll scroll down, you'll also see this QR code link. If we'll click on that, a QR code will load up along with a URI for us to check out. If we will take our Google Authenticator app or any other authenticator app for two-factor authentication, scan this QR code, it'll set up everything that we need so that we can get our every 30 seconds new code. This is the standard mechanism for getting our two-factor authentication code. So with that in mind, we'll go ahead and log out. We'll go to our admin. We'll do just our username and password, and we'll just not use a token and try to log in, and you'll see we have a token error. Then it's going to give us the device we can choose and the token. We're just going to leave it like normal and add our token in from the Google Authenticator app that I associated with that QR code. We'll hit login, and we're in. We have our users and our TOTP devices. So with that, we have our temporary admin in place for doing two-factor authentication, and we're kind of successfully done a two-factor authentication to get into the admin and be able to use it. In future videos, I'm going to go over setting up a custom login, custom creating the device, explaining what the device is, doing a verification step after you log in, and a few other things so that if a person activates their TOTP device to be able to do two-factor authentication, they can do it, or they can use the system normally. We're going to jump in and do a lot of stuff with class-based views, and we're going to kind of dig in a little bit more into how to use those when there isn't kind of a standard conventional way of dealing with all of this stuff. Anyway, join me next time as we continue these next few videos on setting up two-factor authentication. Thank you and have a good day.